Okay, so for today I have, I would say a combined video for you because a couple things. I don't know if either one of them would be a long enough topic for two separate videos, but I kind of wanted to give you first an update on how I'm doing, I guess. Just like some sort of update on my like my bladder situation and diaper situation and everything. And then at the end of the video I wanted to do the actual AMA I had requested people ask me questions about. So let's just start off with the update. Okay, so for those of you who are new here and do not know, I have struggled with overactive bladder and bedwetting, primarily bedwetting. So that was where everything went wrong. That was where I noticed I had overactive bladder and everything. But I've struggled with bedwetting my entire life. I've had many different types of procedures and medications and surgeries to help to eliminate the bedwetting symptoms and everything, but I just kind of want to bring up to speed with what's going on right now. So since my second surgery for my interstim procedure, which is the implant of the interstim device in my right butt cheek, there was a little bit of success from that, but it never like remained like steadfast in my life. Like it was like, oh, for a few months I was kind of having like some lesser overactive bladder symptoms and less wet in the bed, but it was only like a 5 to 10% increase than it was from everyday life. And now ever since the April when I had my second surgery, it's just been, you know, kind of back down to normal, always wet in the bed, always having overactive bladder symptoms, like a huge increase in urgency and leaking and all that stuff. So so that hasn't changed, but I will be seeing one of my urologists in Ottawa on August 8th, I think. Anyways, and that's in a few weeks, so I'm excited to see him. But the last time I saw him was probably about less than 3 months ago, and we had mentioned, I told him all about what was going on with me since the surgery in April and everything, and he said we would just try and see if it would get better in the little 3-month interim before I see him again, which is coming up now. And so far it hasn't, but he had mentioned a couple things. He wanted to possibly add, I guess, another treatment option in conjunction with the interstim implant in my rear, and as like say medication or maybe more Botox injections in my bladder. So we were just thinking of adding on to what I've already got to hope that it would actually deplete it altogether, like the bedwetting and overactive bladder. Or we would try and, well, not try, it would probably kind of be my last solution, was to go for bladder augmentation. So that would be, I've still been trying to make a video about that. I still don't know a lot about it. I know that it involves some serious bowel to bladder augmentation, so that the bladder is increased in size, but you probably have very little control over whether or not you're going to wet yourself or not. It's just like the urgency is gone, but you use a catheter for the rest of your life. So it's kind of like a give and take. But we were going to probably talk about that as well. So anyways, I'm excited and nervous to go see my doctor in Ottawa in a few weeks. I will be giving updates on that, obviously. And as well, from my last video, I think it was the adult bedwetting, or so the adult diaper review number 2. Ever since I did that, like I said, I had ordered 2 packages from the ones I had reviewed. It was the Tenna the Tenna Flex Super or something like that, and then also the Lil Supreme Fit, which were the 2 brands I had ordered. I still really like them. There's nothing wrong with them. I actually prefer the Tenna one over the Lil Supreme Fit one because if you look up the images, or if you watch my last video, it involves like strapping on like a belt to the front, and it's just a lot easier for me to do on my own. Obviously, I don't have but I don't have anyone else to help me put these on, and nor do I want anyone to help me do it. But as a one person, just trying to lie down on your bed and try to put them on, doing it up in the front like a belt is much easier for me, as opposed to like trying to do either side with like, it's just whatever. I just really like the belt style. They are still taped diapers, they're just fitted a different way. I also ordered some more trial samples. I think I only ordered in the trial thing 3 or 4 new ones. I think you can only order 5. So I'll be looking forward to doing those again. Oh, and another thing I wanted to say was that ever since I've been doing these videos on YouTube and participating in like the adult bedwetting community, life has been pretty good. I've really enjoyed doing these, and I know a lot of people say like I'm just super brave and everything to be doing this, but it's really helped me feel so much better about myself. And you know, how I've been so, like, I've been way less depressed on a regular basis, because I do suffer from like major depression, but on a normal basis, like, I'll have like the ups and downs of a depressive disorder or a depressive episode, but I haven't had one in like probably since my surgery in April, so pretty much 4 or 5 months. But it's been pretty decent. I feel pretty like normal, and I'm glad, and I look forward to making these videos like every weekend if I can. And I just really love that you guys are so on board with this, and you're giving me so much support, and like, to be honest, it's the best thing that's probably ever happened to me. So thank you for watching and sharing and like commenting and subscribing. So that's awesome. It makes me feel awesome that I'm helping people and also help myself. But I haven't been this happy in a long time, and I really do love making these videos and sharing my stories with everyone. And I look forward to doing this, like I said, every day, like every night. I'm like, what new video can I make? And I never fall asleep until like 4 a.m. And anyways, so yeah, I really like making these videos. Thanks to you guys for watching. And now I'm going to get into the Ask Me Anything portion of this video, because I knew there wasn't going to be too many Ask Me Anything questions, but they were all on Reddit. So let me just get to that part. Oh, and if you haven't made it over to the Reddit page, Adult Bedwetting, I think that's the title of the subreddit. Go make yourself known over there. Go read some stories and like subscribe. You don't have to write anything, but just read some stuff. Everyone over there is so supportive. If you think like the comment section here is supportive, everyone there is amazing. I really enjoy reading everyone's tips and tricks and then sharing all these like insights and everything. It's super. Like, I highly recommend it. If you haven't gone over there, you don't have to be a user to read them, I don't think, but you just have to go type in subreddit, under the subreddit Adult Bedwetting, and you will notice a lot of the commenters and subscribers will have some sort of bedwetting related name or username. That's because a lot of people still want to keep themselves somewhat private, which is totally understandable. But regardless, I think if you haven't made it over there, do go over there and read some of the comments. I'm somewhat active in the community, so my username is the Robin Hood, and yeah. So let me get into the questions. From the creator of the subreddit, username 7am2 underscore 2 bottles, she says, did your siblings treat you any differently when you were younger because of it? So I have an older brother and a younger brother, so there are 3 of us. No, I don't think they did. To be honest, there was no awkward treatments of any. We were all fairly nice to each other, unless we felt like throwing snowballs in each other's faces and making each other cry. No, there wasn't like any other kind of. There was a lot of bullying, but not under the fact that we had nothing to do with the bedwetting symptoms. Like, to be honest, I don't think they even remembered or knew. She also asks, did anyone ever find out on an accident? So, probably just friends. Like, I did mention it in my 2 videos on my embarrassing bedwetting stories. There were people who found out, and they were either really, really rude about it, or didn't care, or super supportive. Like, everyone's gonna have their own opinions on it, so yeah, people found out, but it never really was talked about like to my face normally. It was just talked about behind my back kind of thing. She also asks, what is your greatest hope for the YouTube channel and the content that you post? So my biggest hope, that's a really good question. My biggest hope is that one day someone else will notice that is not an avid bedwetter, if you will. My hopes is that someone from the actual media or someone who really cares about like opening up on these topics will read this sort of, or watch my videos someday and just like bring it to even a bigger light. Like, I just want the most positive outcome for me, but for everyone else as well. I want people to know that this exists, that so many people have this problem, and it's not uncommon, and that I just want everyone to know it exists and not for it to be stigmatized. I know it's gonna take a long time, but my biggest outcome for my channel right now is to just get it out there that this isn't uncommon, like I said. And for the content that I post, it will be kind of all over the place, but right now I want it to be focused on just like my life and how I have been struggling with it and everything. Also, maybe incorporate some other people from the community who have bedwetting issues. And I'm just gonna kind of go from there. Other people have mentioned that I can do some like outfit of the day videos, which I want to do, but I don't think anyone on this channel has subscribed for that kind of content, or like makeup videos or reviews of that kind of like normal everyday stuff. But right now it's just gonna stick to bedwetting and my life around that. So yeah, if you guys are into it, I'm gonna be into it, and I'm just gonna keep making these videos. She also says an obligatory question is, what is my favorite pie? And hands down, it's pumpkin pie. I love pumpkin pie. I'm a basic white girl. I really like pumpkin spiced everything, and before that became a popular freaky thing, I've always loved pumpkin pie. It can be cold or hot. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to heat it up if you want it. You can also put whipped cream or ice cream on it. Like it's versatile, and it's just freaking delicious. And I love making pumpkin anything, so I like making my own pumpkin pie, pumpkin cupcakes, pumpkin cookies. I almost once adopted a cat, and I wanted to call her Pumpkin Spice, or just for short I would have called her Pumpkin. But yeah, I love pumpkin stuff. If you ever look at like the backgrounds of my videos, which I'll try and show you now, in the windowsill there, I've got this like pumpkin guy, and he sits there looking at all my neighbors and stuff, and he's just a little candle holder, because pumpkins are awesome and everyone should be celebrating Halloween and stuff like that all year round. So Adult Anuretic, he's one of the moderators on this channel, on the subreddit as well, has a few questions. He says, do you or have you had a significant other, and how have they reacted to the bedwetting/diapers? So that's a good question. Because we're all adults for the most part, most of us at some point or another will probably have someone who is either sleeping beside us, or we are dating and they probably will find out about our bedwetting issues. So it's a very topical question, and I think it's a good question to answer. So I haven't really got a lot of experience on this. So for significant others, I've only had one that has known about it and still knows about it, and he has been pretty supportive. He really doesn't, he's never talked about it really. We've never really conversed about it, because I don't think he's super comfortable with it. Or he's not my boyfriend anymore, he's my ex-boyfriend, which is fine and everything. He doesn't have to be comfortable with it, but for the most part, anyone who even knows about it probably still, to my face, doesn't really talk about it. Mostly even like my mom, sometimes she has some questions and she doesn't really know what to say and how to talk about it. She's mostly just concerned and doesn't know what to say. But even like my best friend, any boyfriends I've had, they really don't know what to say about it. They are super supportive, but there's nothing they can do to make it better or anything. As for the bedwetting itself, I don't know, I didn't really have a negative impact on him, I don't think. I mean, I would like to replace anything that I've ruined of his, but for the most part, there was no real issue with that, and we got along just fine. It was just part of our lives. I wish I had more to say about that, because so many people ask me those kind of questions about like, how do you deal with like sleeping beside someone or significant others who know about your bedwetting issues, and I just don't have enough experience. I know so many people who have told me that they have the same experience. They're just like, yeah, our partner or whoever's partner supports what's going on and like takes me to doctor's appointments, or like people say that it's great. I just hope that you guys find someone who is supportive. But if you find someone who's like you, like, all the more power to you. If you find that makes it better for you guys to communicate and get along. Okay, and then user Bert_Macklin_FBI, which I told him was an excellent name, because that's a pretty freaking awesome name, because it's from Parks and Recreation. Chris Pratt, who plays Andy, at one point gives himself a persona, and it was a pretty cool name. He asked a few questions. So he said, would you say that there was a time that you specifically remember where you accepted it? Recently. That's a good question. Probably in the last year or two. Like, I totally was denying, like, it's such a good question. I had to think about this one for like a couple weeks. I was just like, I don't want it to be like a couple years ago or maybe even a year ago, but I think it was, because I was holding on to the fact that it wasn't going to be it was going to be a temporary thing in my life. And with all the procedures and surgeries that I had been doing, I was just like, yeah, it's gonna go away. It's gonna go away. Like I can't suffer this forever. And so far it hasn't gone away. So now, yeah, probably within the past year, maybe year and a half, that I've accepted it. And that's been a hard, burning, painful acceptance. But I probably still haven't quite accepted it. I'm still hoping that it'll go away. But at this point, yeah, it's been fairly recently. He also says, in your opinion, what was the most difficult age to deal with it? That's a good question. So I was homeschooled for most of my life. I went to school when I think I went to preschool in grade 1 or junior, I don't know what they were called, junior kindergarten maybe. And then I got pulled out at the end of grade 1 to grade 9, and I went halfway through into grade 9. And then I went to school and I like completed high school and everything. Went to university for like 4 months, dropped out. But I don't, because I'm trying to think of a socially a bad time. I would say that probably the past, okay, I would probably say in the past 10 years, like somewhere between like the end of high school to like right around now, or not now, but like between like 2010 and 2015 maybe. Like those were pretty hard years because it's pretty socially, like I was always around people and like even if I was driving and like I had an accident in the car or something and people around, like those are pretty hard times. But probably like late teens to early 20s did I have that issue the most. He also asks, what crazy remedies have you tried and what are some of the crazier ones you gave a try to? Don't know if I have any crazy remedies. Probably the worst one was probably try not to drink at night or drink at all, and that's a terrible remedy that's going to give you bladder, kidney problems, or worse problems. We don't want to do that. That was a pretty crazy one. I read on the Reddit that Adult Anoretic had written that a spoonful of peanut butter was one of his remedies his doctor gave him, and I was just like, that's weird. If you didn't and don't wet every single night, would you track wet nights along the way? Throughout my life, I've done that. I've done that at different times, like different ages. I definitely did that when I was trying to get rid of the bedwetting a long time ago, when I think it was around age 11. I had to keep track of things. I had a terrible time with that doctor because he was mostly geared towards like little boys who wet the bed. And so all the stuff I had to keep track with were like little boy stickers and like little boy charts and like all this. And I was just like, this is stupid. Anyways, so I've kept track more recently at different times when I've been trying to find a different solution, especially with the Botox injection in my bladder, and then also with the InterStim implant. So like I've kept track, but sometimes I'll just like do like a little Word or Excel sheet on my phone and kind of just try and see if I can keep track. And even then it's not, even in my head, I'll just keep track and be like, well, on average this month I didn't wet the bed 1 or 2 times, or even less than that kind of thing. And also, the last question he asks, how was your family with it? Did they know? Did you ever get teased for it? Good question. My family, 1, didn't ask me about it, 2 didn't care, or 3, if they did ask me about it, they probably would have been like, you should have outgrown this by now. You know, like kind of just like attack me very like suddenly and randomly. These wouldn't be like my close family, obviously, just like grandparents, aunts and uncles and stuff like that. It would just be like, well, this should be done by now, and like they'd feel like they were better than me kind of thing, and just tell me like what they would have done to solve it. I'm like, okay, thanks. Like, you're not gonna tell me something new that I already don't know. You're not a doctor, unless they are a doctor, but they weren't a doctor. So anyway, most of the time they were either, like 90% of the time, no one cared. You know, I shouldn't say cared. No one knew what to say or how to react, so no one said anything at all. Or they would kind of attack me with like, I say the word attack because it felt like an attack, because like if I haven't talked to these people for like months to a year and all of a sudden they hear about the fact that I still wet the bed, they just get super like pumped up in it, like somewhat aggressive about it for some reason, even though it's not their problem. And that's how I feel when people try to tell me how to live my life about a problem they do not have. I think that's all of the AMA questions. If you feel like asking me more questions like this, just leave them in the comments. Like, I still read and approve all the comments anyway. Ask me any questions you have. I will try and answer them. And also just answer them in the comments. But regardless, I still super appreciate everyone's support. You guys are just as awesome. If you think I'm awesome, you guys are also fabulous. The fact that you guys have anything to say about it at all. Or some people, like one girl wrote a comment last week and it was the nicest thing I had read in a long time. Like, everything you guys write is nice, but she said she'd never commented on a YouTube video before, and she just had some of the sweetest words. Like, she just like wrote like an essay about how like this was amazing and how she never thought that someone would comment or do videos about this. It was just like, it warmed my heart so much and made my day. So that's why I'm doing this, and if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe and tell your friends or something. Tell someone. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time. Bye!